I want to say very clearly, it wasn't the EFCC, okay? It was the DSS.
Right.
But the DSS were procured to abduct me by the ICPC that has never communicated with me ever, okay? Subsequently, we found out that it was the ICPC that procured the DSS to abduct me and then hand over to them. And this is a modus operandi of the ICPC that increasingly has become a personal tool of Nuhu Ribadu. Nuhu made the call and made the order that I must be in custody yesterday.
How do you know he made the call?
He made the call because we listened to their calls. The government thinks that they're the only ones that listen to calls, but we also have our ways. He made the call, he gave the order. And
so you tapped his phone calls, did you?
Someone tapped his phone and told me.
Because that technically is illegal.
I know, but the government does it all the time. They listen to our calls all the time without a court order. But someone tapped his phone and told us that he gave the order. Yesterday, around 5 p.m., the ICPC finally did the right thing, not the DSS that tried to abduct me, by bringing a letter to my house to say, we want to see you on Friday the 13th. My lawyer wrote back to say, guys, my client is not an idle person that has no program. He's just waiting for a letter from anyone. We've received your letter. We will, now that you've written an invitation, you've had the courage to write an invitation, we will honor the invitation. But on Monday, we are going to EFCC that has written before. So we'll go there. After the EFCC, we'll go to ICPC on Tuesday or Wednesday. And yesterday, they met the National Security Advisor, the governor of Kaduna State, and the chairman of ICPC met. And they have decided that I must be abducted today.
Not arrested, but abducted.
Yeah, abducted because, arrest, people use arrest. They don't know that arrest has a legal meaning. Arrest means a lawful activity, okay, with a warrant. The police have, under the Police Act, they have a clear, they can arrest you without a warrant. But every other agency must go to a judge and show cause, okay? So when you try to take a person without a valid order, it's not an arrest, it's an abduction. If they want to compel attendance, they need a court order to convince a judge why time is of the essence. There is no law in Nigeria that says once you're invited on a particular date, you must go that instance. You have your life, you have your plans, and some things cannot be postponed. You may have business transactions that you lose millions of dollars. They are not going to compensate you if you miss those meetings. So the law does not give them blank check to call you at their convenience. If it is not convenient, your lawyer would write and negotiate and say, look, he will come at this time.
If the National Assembly does not want INEC to give us real-time results transmission, which INEC has said it can do, then we, the people, must provide our own real-time electronic results transmission and go a step further to make it real-time electronic results collation. The basic unit of election results in Nigeria, the basic unit, is the Form EC8A result. In fact, the Supreme Court stressed the importance of the Form EC8A results. In the 2023 presidential election, it was so important in the eye of the Supreme Court that Peter Obi's lawyers were fined, I think 2 million or 20 million, for not presenting Form EC8A result, admissible ones, not the ones people snapped and all that. That is how important the Form EC8A result is. Now, I ask myself, now perhaps you can help me answer this question. If the Supreme Court has said the most important, the basic unit of election results in Nigeria is Form EC8A, and that Form EC8A is a public document because after the counting of election results at the polling unit, and the results are entered into the Form EC8A, and INEC's electoral officer at the polling unit signs it, the polling unit agents of the different political parties, they signed the same Form EC8A. The police, I think, they also signed. Once all these are done, the political parties' agents are given a copy. The police and maybe some other security agents are given a copy. There's a copy that will now also be pasted on the wall at the polling unit, and then the INEC official will now use the beavers to take a picture of what was of that Form EC8A and send to IREV for safekeeping. And the reason for this is to prevent result snatching between the polling unit and the first collation center, which is at the ward. This original result is already in the hands of the police. It's already in the hands of the polling unit agents for each of the political parties. It's already in the hands of INEC returning officer for the polling unit. What is all the fuss about real-time transmission of that same result that the political parties already have once it is processed? This is why I think that all of this argument about real-time transmission of polling unit results to IREV, it's a dumb argument for the opposition. And it is a distraction for the people of Nigeria. Why do I say this? Does it solve the problem of elections, the problem of transparency in elections, the problem of credibility of elections in Nigeria? Does it solve it? To answer that question, we will need to ask another question. Where is the problem in Nigeria's electoral process? Is it at the voting stage? Is it at the result announcement stage at the polling unit? Clearly, majority of the problem happens in that collation gap. It is at the collation gap that we now begin to see altered results. It is not at the polling unit. It is at the collation gap that we discover that results for a particular political party will become very fat and results for another political party will become very lean. It is in that collation gap, that 2, 3, 4 days, sometimes even a week. That is where the problem happens. So our problem is not the real-time transmission of results, because if it is the real-time transmission of results, we, the people, we have it. All of the political parties, they are entitled to agents in all the polling units. So by law, they are protected to have their own original Form EC8A. So if the political parties were serious and hardworking enough to ensure that they have incorrigible polling unit agents at the polling unit, and those polling unit agents have a copy of the Form EC8A results, then the political party itself can do its own real-time IREV result. Nothing stops a political party from doing that. In fact, I would suggest that the political party can even take it up a notch and engage in real-time result collation. Can we leave the transparency of the election to the hands of the persons who have benefited from it or who plans to benefit from rigging of elections? I don't think it would be wise to do that. We, the people, can use instruments that are available within the confines of law. Can we, the people, use it to provide our own real-time electronic result transmission and collation? Can we? The answer to that is yes. And the technology for that is Votewatch.pro, Votewatch.pro. But we need the people, the polling unit marshals, who will volunteer. It's going to be a volunteer work, but it is going to be a work that will pay off for Nigerians in the long run. The only way for Nigeria to develop faster than the rate at which it is developing now is if we have credible leaders, leaders that are people-oriented. And that can only happen once we have free and fair elections. That is why it is important, it is crucial if you have not joined Votewatch, if you have not volunteered to be a polling unit marshal, and you are pushing for a better country, better governance or good governance, I don't want to say you're wasting your time, but you might just be. The better option for you is to volunteer and join votewatch.pro. You can support us, you can promote us, it is a we the people project. It is a non-partisan solution to election rigging in Nigeria. And if we can come together and implement it, even up to 50%, I can assure you that elections will no longer be riggable in Nigeria. The days of results growing fat during that collation gap will be off. And then we can focus on things that will inspire Nigerians to come out, so we can also get rid of voter apathy. Vote buying will be an ineffective instrument if we can get people to come out. Because it means that if 20 million people are coming out and they are buying 10 million votes at 10,000 naira, they will give out trillions of naira. Initially, I used to argue that they don't have that much money. But with what we have seen, they probably have that much money. But if 90 million people come out to come and vote, 100 million people come out to come and vote, and they are planning to pay 10,000 naira, how much is that? 100 trillion? Will any politician be willing to give out 100 trillion? How much is the whole budget of Nigeria? So you see, by helping to reduce voter apathy through these kind of people-powered, non-partisan solutions such as Votewatch.pro, what we are actually doing is making even vote buying an unattractive venture, a very expensive venture, and thus discourage it. And then the people now feel very inspired, knowing fully well that their votes will count and be counted. They will be inspired to come out and vote. Votewatch is a solution that we, the people, should rally around. And I appeal to you to do it in the interest of Nigeria. Votewatch will give legitimacy to whoever wins. Everybody has a right to vote for who they want, and people have a right to contest. If the majority of the people choose a particular candidate in a process that is free, fair, and credible, the losers and the followers of the losing candidate they'll probably be pained, but they will not argue illegitimacy. So, Votewatch as a non-partisan solution is favorable to all political parties and all candidates. It's favorable to even INEC, because it is also possible that some of the shenanigans that go on, sometimes, according to allegations that are out there in INEC, is not to the knowledge of certain key people. So Votewatch will also help even INEC to make sure that they are keeping their independence and their neutrality in the electoral process. Votewatch is the solutions that will take Nigeria from where it is now to where Nigeria needs to be. If Votewatch comes online and is effective to ensuring that Nigerians get good leaders, in 3 years, the kind of development that will happen, Nigerians will be shocked. We won't need to be praying for health again. Healthcare will be available to all Nigerians. We won't need to be praying for jobs that are not there anymore. Jobs will be everywhere. Because you need good government policies for good education. You need good government policies for good healthcare. You need good government policies for job creation. And all of this can only happen when you have leaders that have the interest of the people at heart, not necessarily serving their godfathers or whatever, whether locally or internationally. So Votewatch is a paradigm shift from the way we approach good governance in Nigeria. Check it out, votewatch.pro. Let us know your thoughts.